Hey everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. So we have a reaction video for us today. This is going to be 50 bizarre Missouri facts that you never knew. So I don't know much about Missouri. Actually, I hardly know anything. I think Mizzou Tigers come from there. Obviously college football. I've got a few friends that I've met through the channel that I consider friends live there. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs are just about to leave. But apart from that, I have no idea. So let's jump in and let's have a look at this one.
Did you know Missouri has more shoreline than the entire California coast? Or that it sits on top of...
Wait, what? I guess that's a river. Because isn't Missouri landlocked? Huh?
More shoreline than the entire California coast?
I guess that's a
or
river.
that it sits on top of the most powerful earthquake zone east of the Rockies, one that literally made the Mississippi River flow backward? How about the fact that Missouri holds the largest spring in the United States, pumping out nearly 300 million gallons of water every single day? Well, Missouri look...
What? Buddy, just start. What? Slow down in the facts, mate. What?
300 million gallons of water every single day. Well, Missouri looks pretty normal on a map until you realize it's secretly home to some of the most extreme geography in America. And today, we're breaking down 50 facts that will completely change how you see the Show Me State. So, let's get right into it. Fact 50. Lake of the Ozarks has more shoreline than California's entire coast. Here's a fact that sounds impossible until you see the map. Lake of the Ozarks stretches over 1,150 miles of shoreline, more than the entire Pacific coastline of California. And it's not even natural. This massive reservoir was created in 1931 when the ocean...
It's man-made? Oh my God.
Not even natural. This massive reservoir was created in 1931 when the Osage River was dammed, flooding hundreds of valleys, coves, and hollows. The result is a serpentine maze of water so convoluted that boaters routinely get lost in its endless arms. From above, it looks less like a lake and more like a jagged lightning bolt frozen in the Ozarks. California has roughly 840 miles of ocean coast. Missouri's man-made lake beats it by over 300 miles. The world's largest pecan sits in Brunswick. Missouri takes its agriculture seriously, and its roadside attractions even more seriously. In Brunswick, a 12,000-pound concrete pecan...
Now, do you say pecan or pecan? Let me know in the comment section.
More seriously. In Brunswick, a 12,000-pound concrete pecan towers over visitors as the world's largest pecan. Standing 12 feet long and 7 feet in diameter, this monument celebrates Missouri's position as one of the top pecan-producing states in the nation. The original pecan was built in 1982, then rebuilt larger in 2019 after the old one cracked. It's a reminder that in the Midwest, if your town is known for something, you build a giant version of it.
That's a
fact
big
48. Soulard hosts the second largest Mardi Gras celebration in America. Think Mardi Gras only belongs to New Orleans? Think again. Every year, St. Louis's Soulard neighborhood explodes into the second largest Mardi Gras celebration in the country, drawing over 1 million visitors. The tradition dates back to the French settlers who founded the city, and today it features parades, live music, beats.
Okay, so French influence. Okay, obviously that's where it comes from. Okay.
French settlers who founded the city, and today it features parades, live music, beads, and chaos stretching across 20 city blocks. Soulard itself is one of the oldest neighborhoods west of the Mississippi, with brick row houses and cobblestone streets that make it feel more like the French Quarter than the Midwest. Fact 47. The world's largest chess piece guards St. Louis. Standing 14 feet tall and weighing 2,280 pounds, the world's largest chess piece sits outside the World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis. This massive king was certified by Guinness World Records and symbolizes St. Louis's unlikely status as America's chess capital.
I did not know they had a Hall of Fame for chess. That's something new on me. I did not know that. Okay.
symbolizes
Okay.
St. Louis's unlikely status as America's chess capital. The city has hosted multiple U.S. championships and Olympiad qualifiers, and its chess culture runs deep, from grandmaster training programs to casual games in Forest Park. The oversized king isn't just a gimmick. It's a statement that St. Louis takes the game seriously. Fact 46. America's lead mining heartland lies beneath Missouri. The Southeast Missouri Lead District, also called the Lead Belt, has been producing lead since the 1700s and remains one of the most productive lead mining regions on Earth. Missouri produces roughly 70% of all primary lead mined in the United States.
Oh, wow.
The ore deposits here formed over 1.4 billion years ago, buried deep in ancient igneous rock. Mining operations have carved massive underground caverns, some of which are now repurposed as data centers and storage facilities because of their stable temperatures and security. Beneath the quiet Ozark Hills lies an industrial underworld that's been fueling America's economy for centuries. Fact 45. Anheuser-Busch brews more beer than any other facility in the Western Hemisphere. The Anheuser-Busch Brewery in St. Louis isn't
that Budweiser? Did I know Budweiser was from Missouri? I don't know. Damn.
just a factory. It's a 142-acre beer empire and National Historic Landmark. Founded in 1852, this facility produces more beer than any other single location in the Western Hemisphere. The property includes the famous Budweiser Clydesdale stables, a beechwood aging cellar, and architecture so ornate it looks more like a European castle than a brewery.
Look at it.
Free tours have been running for over a century. Anheuser-Busch didn't just put St. Louis on the map, it helped define American brewing. Fact 44. St. Louis's The Hill is one of America's last authentic Italian neighborhoods. Tucked into southwest St. Louis, The Hill has been home to Italian immigrants and their descendants for over 120 years. Unlike most urban ethnic enclaves that faded with assimilation, The Hill remains fiercely intact.
Look at that. It's got the Italian flag on the road and everything. Holy. Okay.
Like enclaves that faded with assimilation, The Hill remains fiercely intact, with bakeries, delis, bocce courts, and family restaurants that have operated for generations. Baseball legends Yogi Berra and Joe Garagiola grew up here just blocks apart. Fire hydrants are painted the green, white, and red of the Italian flag. The Hill isn't a tourist recreation. It's a living neighborhood where Sunday gravy is still serious business. Fact 43. Kansas City's Union Station is one of the largest train stations ever built. When Union Station opened in 1914, it was the second largest train station in the country, covering 850,000 square feet under a 95-foot ceiling. At its peak, over 670,000 passengers passed through annually. The station's Grand Hall features 3 massive chandeliers, each weighing 3,500 pounds, and a 6-foot wide clock that became a Kansas City icon. After decades of decline, a $250 million restoration in the 1990s transformed it into a science center, theater, and museum complex. Today, it's proof that some buildings are too grand to let die. Fact 42. Missouri is home to the world's largest rocking chair. In Fanning, Missouri, along Route 66, stands a 42-foot-tall rocking chair that dwarfs everything around it. Originally built in 2008 to attract customers to the Fanning 66 outpost, it quickly became a Route 66 landmark and roadside legend. For a brief time, it lost its world's largest title to a chair in Illinois, so the owners added 2 more feet to reclaim the crown. It's exactly the kind of absurd, competitive Americana that made Route 66 famous in the first place. Fact 41. Merrimack Caverns hid Jesse James and invented the bumper sticker. Merrimack Caverns near Stanton has been a commercial cave since 1933, but its history runs much deeper. Legend holds that outlaw Jesse James used the cave as a hideout after train robberies in the 1870s. True or not, the story stuck. Even more interesting, the cave's owner, Lester Dill, is credited with popularizing the bumper sticker as a marketing tool in the 1940s. He plastered "Visit Merrimack Caverns" on barns across America and stuck adhesive signs on car bumpers. An advertising revolution born underground in Missouri. Fact 40. Table Rock Lake holds enough water to cover the state knee-deep. Table Rock Lake, created by damming the White River in 1958, holds over 3.5 trillion gallons of water across nearly 800 miles of shoreline. Dang. If you spread that water evenly across Missouri, it would cover the entire state about 8 inches deep. The lake's crystal clear waters, some of the cleanest in the Midwest, draw millions of visitors annually for boating, fishing, and diving. Below the surface, submerged forests and old Ozark towns remain frozen in time, relics of—
That must be weird if you're a diver under the water seeing trees and old houses and everything. That'd be kind of eerie. It'd be like, I don't know. It's very
forests
eerie.
and old Ozark towns remain frozen in time, relics of the valleys flooded to create this massive reservoir. Fact 39. Ha-Ha Tonka's castle ruins overlook a collapsed cave and natural bridge. Ha-Ha Tonka State Park looks like something from a Gothic novel. Perched on bluffs 250 feet above the Lake of the Ozarks sit the stone ruins of a 1900s European-style castle, abandoned after a fire in 1942 and never rebuilt. Below the ruins, the landscape gets even stranger. A collapsed cave system created a natural bridge, sinkholes, and a massive spring that pumps 48 million gallons of water daily. The name, Ha-Ha Tonka, comes from the Osage phrase meaning laughing waters. It's one of Missouri's most surreal landscapes, part architecture, part geology, all dramatic.
You think somebody would, I guess from 1940s, and nobody's tried to, rebuild it? Okay.
Surreal landscapes, part architecture, part geology, all dramatic. Fact 38. The Cheltenham Syncline proves St. Louis sits on folded rock. Hidden beneath the streets of St. Louis is the Cheltenham Syncline, a massive geological fold where rock layers buckled into a U-shape millions of years ago. This syncline formed during ancient tectonic compression, bending limestone and shale into undulating waves beneath the city. Though invisible from the surface, the syncline affects everything from construction to water damage. Geologists study it as a rare example of major rock folding in the stable continental interior, proof that even the flattest looking places can hide dramatic forces below. Fact 37. The St. Louis Union Station Aquarium houses a 120-pound octopus named Lucy. Inside the historic St. Louis Union Station, once one of the busiest train terminals in the world, now lives an aquarium featuring over 13,000 animals. The star attraction is Lucy, a giant Pacific octopus weighing over 120 pounds, known for her intelligence and ability to solve puzzles. The aquarium's location inside a 130-year-old Romanesque train station creates a surreal experience. Victorian architecture meets underwater tunnels and touch tanks. It's adaptive reuse at its most unexpected. Fact 36. Missouri is the cave state with over 7,500 recorded caves. Missouri has more recorded caves than almost any other state, earning it the nickname the Cave State.
With all the caves and the lead mining and the folded rock and everything else, it's kind of like Missouri's kind of almost hollow, or kind of, there's a little kind of, I don't know, danger is the right word, but okay. There seems to be a lot of caverns and stuff, hollow, missing ground underneath Missouri. What the heck?
Caves than almost any other state, earning it the nickname the Cave State. Over 7,500 caves have been documented, with new ones still being discovered. These caves formed as slightly acidic groundwater dissolved the region's thick limestone over millions of years, carving out everything from tight crawlways to cathedral-sized chambers. Some caves contain ancient Native American artifacts. Others shelter endangered bat species. A few have—
Is that a bloody car in the cave? What the?
Native American artifacts. Others shelter endangered bat species. A few have been turned into tourist attractions, concert venues, and even cheese storage facilities.
Oh,
Beneath Missouri's rolling hills lies a hidden world most people never see.
Dang.
Fact 35. St. Charles was Missouri's first state capital, and it still looks the part. Before Jefferson City, there was St. Charles. This riverfront town served as Missouri's capital from 1821 to 1826, and its historic Main Street has preserved that frontier-era charm ever since. Cobblestone streets, gas lamps, and 19th century brick buildings line a 10-block stretch that feels like stepping back in time. Lewis and Clark launched their famous expedition from St. Charles in 1804. Today, it's one of the best preserved historic districts west of the Mississippi.
I've heard of Lewis and Clark. Did they go to, was it out to Oregon? Am I thinking of the right people? I think so. I think that's who I'm thinking of. Okay.
Before. Today, it's one of the best preserved historic districts west of the Mississippi, a living snapshot of Missouri's earliest days as a state. Fact 34. The St. Louis Science Center sits directly on top of a highway. The St. Louis Science Center doesn't just teach physics, it demonstrates it. The museum's main building connects to its planetarium via a sky bridge that spans Interstate 64, putting visitors directly above 6 lanes of rushing traffic. This architectural oddity makes the Science Center one of the few museums in America where you can watch cars zoom beneath your feet while exploring exhibits on motion and energy. With free general admission and over 700 interactive displays, it's been drawing millions of visitors since 1991. Fact 33. Grant's farm was home to Ulysses S. Grant, and now hosts 900 animals. Grant's farm in St. Louis County operates on land once farmed by Ulysses S. Grant before the Civil War. Today, it's a 281-acre wildlife preserve and theme park owned by the Bush family. Yes, the beer Bushes. Visitors can see buffalo, elephants, kangaroos, and the famous Budweiser Clydesdales. Grant's original log cabin, Hardscrabble, still stands on the property. It's a strange fusion of presidential history, European architecture, exotic animals, and brewing legacy, all in one park. Fact 32. The St. Louis Zoo is one of the last great free zoos in America. The St. Louis Zoo...
I don't think I've ever seen a free zoo. I don't think we have any free zoos in Australia.
Zoo is one of the last great free zoos in America. The St. Louis Zoo consistently ranks among the best in the country, and it charges no admission. Funded by a regional tax district since 1971, the zoo draws over 3 million visitors annually to see 16,000 animals across 90 acres inside Forest Park. Its history is equally impressive. The zoo began in 1910 when the city purchased the bird cages left over from the 1904 World's Fair. Free, world-class, and over a century old. It's a model other cities wish they could replicate. Fact 31. City Garden is an outdoor sculpture park where you can touch the art. In downtown St. Louis, City Garden stretches across 3 blocks with 24 large-scale sculptures, spray pools, and native plantings, all free and open to the public. Unlike most sculpture gardens, visitors are encouraged to touch, climb, and interact with the art. Works by internationally renowned artists sit alongside splash fountains where kids play in the summer. It's an urban oasis that transformed vacant lots into one of the most celebrated public spaces in the Midwest. Fact 30.
I like that they can actually go and actually touch stuff as well. Play in the fountains, and it's, you know, that's what they want people to do, which is fantastic. Okay.
Into one of the most celebrated public spaces in the Midwest. Fact 30. Busch Stadium sits on the site of an old rail yard with a view of the arch. Busch Stadium, home of the St. Louis Cardinals, opened in 2006 on the footprint of its predecessor, which itself replaced the city's original ballpark. But what makes this stadium unique is its sightliness. The outfield offers an unobstructed view of the Gateway Arch, framing the St. Louis skyline with every game. The stadium was designed specifically to showcase this view. Few ballparks in America can claim such an iconic backdrop where national monument and national pastime share the same frame. Fact 29. Route 66 passes through Missouri for 317 miles of pure Americana. Missouri.
Does that Route 66 go all the way across America? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Does it go all the way or does it stop?
For 317 miles of pure Americana. Missouri holds one of the longest and best preserved stretches of historic Route 66. 317 miles of diners, motels, gas stations, and roadside attractions frozen in mid-20th century amber. From St. Louis to Joplin, the Mother Road passes through small towns that still trade on Route 66 nostalgia, including the Wagon Wheel Motel in Cuba and the 66 Drive-In Theater in Carthage. Missouri was the first state to complete paving its section of Route 66, and today it remains one of the best places to experience what American road trips used to be. Fact 28. Sea Life Kansas City features a 180-degree ocean tunnel. The Sea Life Aquarium at Crown Center in Kansas City contains over 5,000 creatures and a 180-degree ocean tunnel.
We got a place like this in Queensland. It's called Underwater World. Fantastic place to go. If you've never been to something like that, definitely go. It's well worth it.
Contains over 5,000 creatures and a 180-degree ocean tunnel that lets visitors walk surrounded by sharks, rays, and sea turtles gliding overhead. For a landlocked city in the middle of the country, it's a surreal experience standing in Kansas City while fish swim above your head. Interactive touch pools and behind-the-scenes tours bring the ocean to the heartland. Fact 27. Legoland Discovery Center has over 2 million Lego bricks. The Kansas City area's Legoland Discovery Center in Overland Park is built for serious Lego fans. With 2 million bricks forming a mini-land replica of Kansas City landmarks, interactive rides, building workshops, and a 4D cinema. Though designed for kids, adults-only nights attract grown-up enthusiasts who never outgrew their brick-building obsession. It's 30,000 square feet dedicated to snapping plastic pieces together. Fact 26. Soulard Farmers Market.
1779? Wait, what? Okay.
Plastic pieces together. Fact 26. Soulard Farmers Market has operated since 1779. Soulard Farmers Market in St. Louis is one of the oldest public markets west of the Mississippi, operating continuously since 1779, before Missouri was even a U.S. territory.
Yikes.
The current building dates to 1929, and the market runs year-round, selling local produce, meats, baked goods, and prepared foods. On weekends, it transforms into a sprawling open-air bazaar where thousands gather to shop, eat, and socialize. Over 240 years of commerce, all in the same neighborhood. Fact 25. Ha Ha Tonka's spring pumps 48 million gallons daily from a collapsed cave. We mentioned Ha Ha Tonka's castle ruins earlier, but the geology below is just as dramatic. Ha Ha Tonka Spring gushes 48 million gallons of water per day from the base of a collapsed cave system. Natural bridges, sinkholes, and bluffs surround the spring, creating one of Missouri's most photographed landscapes. The park's geology is textbook karst terrain. Limestone dissolved over eons, leaving behind caves that eventually caved in to form the surreal landscape visible today. Fact 24. The Mark Twain boyhood home preserved the real-life Tom Sawyer.
Wait, Mark Twain is... Did I know that? I don't think I knew that. From Missouri as well?
Fact 24. The Mark Twain boyhood home preserved the real-life Tom Sawyer's world.
Wow.
In Hannibal, Missouri, visitors can walk through the actual house where Samuel Clemens, later known as Mark Twain, spent his boyhood. The white picket fence? Real. The houses of his friends who inspired Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn? Still standing. Hannibal has built an entire
Wow.
industry around Twain's legacy, but the boyhood home itself is the anchor, a modest 1840s house that shaped one of America's greatest writers. The town even has a cave system. Yes, the cave from the novel, open for tours. Fact 23. The Titanic Museum in Branson holds over 400 authentic artifacts. Branson's Titanic Museum is a half-scale replica of the doomed ocean liner.
Why has Missouri got a Titanic? Like, what? Do they just like Titanic? What the heck?
Branson's Titanic Museum is a half-scale replica of the doomed ocean liner built with obsessive attention to detail. Inside, over 400 artifacts recovered from the actual wreck are on display, and every visitor receives a boarding pass with the name of a real passenger. At the end, they learn whether they survived. The museum's creators worked with Titanic historians and survivors' families to ensure accuracy. It's part museum, part memorial, part immersive theater, and one of Branson's most visited attractions. Fact 22. Forest Park is bigger than Central Park, and free. Forest Park in St. Louis spans 1,300 acres, 500 acres larger than New York's Central Park, and nearly everything in it is free. The park contains the St. Louis Zoo, Art Museum, Science Center, History Museum, and the Muni Outdoor Theater, along with lakes, trails, golf courses, and ice rinks. Forest Park also hosted the 1904 World's Fair, which introduced the world to ice cream cones and hot dogs. Over a century later, it remains the cultural heart of St. Louis. Fact 21. Silver Dollar City is built around a 500...
See, look at all these bloody caves. Missouri's going to cave in one day. There'll be nothing left. It'll just be caved in. Damn.
Fact 21. Silver Dollar City is built around a 500-foot deep cave. The 1880s themed amusement park in Branson doesn't just sit on top of Marble Cave. It was built because of it. The park's founder started giving cave tours in 1894, and the theme park grew up around the entrance over decades. Today, visitors can still descend into Marble Cave, which drops over 500 feet into a massive chamber called the Cathedral Room, one of the largest cave entrance rooms in America. Above ground, roller coasters and craft demonstrations. Below ground, an ancient underworld. Fact 20. The Gateway Arch is the tallest man-made monument in the United States.
I have done a video about the building of this arch. I'll put it somewhere that you can go and watch it. Very, very interesting video too, how they built it. Very interesting.
The Gateway Arch in St. Louis stands 630 feet tall, higher than the Statue of Liberty, the Washington Monument, or any other monument in America. Designed by Eero Saarinen and completed in 1965, the arch is a catenary curve clad in stainless steel gleaming above the Mississippi River as a symbol of westward expansion. Inside, a tram system carries visitors to an observation deck at the top, offering views stretching 30 miles in every direction. It's the defining image of St. Louis and an engineering marvel that took over 2 years to construct. Fact 19. Missouri sinkholes can swallow houses.
I told you. I bloody told you. One day you'll wake up and your house is gone. What the?
Fact 19. Missouri sinkholes can swallow houses overnight.
Oh my
Missouri's
God.
karst geology means sinkholes can open suddenly and without warning. In 2006, a sinkhole in Nixa swallowed part of a parking lot. Others have consumed cars, yards, and even portions of homes. The state sits on top of thick limestone layers riddled with caves and underground streams, and when those cavities collapse, the surface goes with them. Geologists estimate thousands of active sinkholes exist across Missouri, with new ones forming regularly. It's a quiet reminder that the ground beneath the Ozarks is constantly, invisibly changing. Fact 18. Elephant Rock State Park contains billion-year-old granite boulders. At Elephant Rock State Park, massive pink granite boulders stand end-to-end like a train of circus elephants frozen in stone.
I can kind of see the elephants there. Okay.
stand end to end like a train of circus elephants frozen in stone. Some boulders weigh over 680 tons and tower 27 feet high. The granite formed 1.5 billion years ago from molten magma, then was slowly exposed by erosion over hundreds of millions of years. Ancient peoples used the site, and 19th century quarry workers carved railroad ties from the stone. Today, visitors can walk a 1-mile trail winding between these house-sized rocks, remnants of an age before complex life existed. Fact 17. The Missouri River is the longest river in North America. Forget the Mississippi, the Missouri River is actually longer, stretching 2,341 miles from its source in Montana to its confluence with the Mississippi near St. Louis. The Missouri drains 1/6 of the entire continent, collecting water from 10 states and 2 Canadian provinces. Lewis and Clark followed the Missouri on their expedition west, and its power helped carve the bluffs and bottomlands of central Missouri. The river's name comes from an indigenous word meaning people of the big canoes, fitting for a waterway that dwarfs almost every other on the continent. Fact 16. Greer Spring ranks among the 10 largest natural springs on Earth. Tucked into the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, Greer Spring discharges an average of 222 million gallons of water per day, making it one of the 10 largest natural springs in the world. The water emerges from a deep cave system at a constant 58 degrees Fahrenheit and flows just 2 miles before joining the 11-Point River. The spring's blue-green pool is so clear that visibility extends dozens of feet into the depths. Greer Spring is Missouri's second largest, and a reminder that the state's underground plumbing rivals any on the planet. Fact 15. Missouri has more large freshwater springs than any other state. Missouri is the spring capital of America. With over 1,100 documented springs, including the largest in the country, no other state comes close. The Ozarks' porous limestone acts like a giant sponge, absorbing rainfall and channeling it through cave systems before releasing it at spring outlets. Some springs are small trickles, others are roaring rivers emerging from underground. This concentration of fresh water created the conditions for Missouri's diverse aquatic ecosystems, and made the state a destination for early settlers seeking reliable water supplies. Fact 14. The New Madrid seismic zone is the most dangerous earthquake zone east of the Rockies.
Oh my God. So now you've got earthquakes, caves, sinkholes, old mine shafts, water coming out everywhere. Jeez, Missouri, what is going on?
Seismic zone is the most dangerous earthquake zone east of the Rockies. Between 1811 and 1812, the New Madrid seismic zone unleashed some of the most powerful earthquakes in American history, estimated at magnitude 7.5 to 8.0. The ground shook so violently that the Mississippi River temporarily flowed backward, church bells rang in Boston, and new lakes formed overnight. Today, this fault zone remains active, capable of producing damaging earthquakes that could affect millions across 7 states. Seismologists warn that another major quake is inevitable. It's just a question of when. Missouri sits directly on top of America's most underestimated earthquake risk. Fact 13. Bull Shoals Lake holds over 4.7 trillion gallons of water. Bull Shoals Lake, straddling the Missouri-Arkansas border, contains nearly 5 trillion gallons of water, enough to provide drinking water to New York City for over a decade. Created by damming the White River in 1951, the lake stretches 45,000 surface acres with over 1,000 miles of shoreline. Its deep, clear waters are famous for trophy bass fishing, and its depths hide submerged forests and old Ozark settlements flooded during construction. Below the dam, the White River runs ice cold year-round, creating a world-class trout fishery. Fact 12. The confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers is one of the Earth's most powerful river junctions. Just north of St. Louis, the Missouri River slams into the Mississippi in one of the most dramatic river confluences on the planet. The meeting point, visible from the bluffs of Confluence Point State Park, shows 2 distinctly colored rivers running side by side before mixing. The Missouri, carrying heavy sediment from the Great Plains, is brown and murky. The Mississippi runs clearer. Together, they create a combined flow that surges toward the Gulf of Mexico with enough force to carve massive sandbars, flood entire regions, and reshape the landscape with every flood. Fact 11. Marvel Cave drops over 500 feet, Missouri's deepest known cave. Beneath Silver Dollar City lies Marvel Cave, a chasm that plunges over 500 feet into the Ozark limestone. The entrance room alone, called the Cathedral Room, spans 200 feet wide and 400 feet long, making it one of the largest cave entrance chambers in America. First explored commercially in the 1890s, Marvel Cave attracted tourists long before the theme park existed. The temperature inside stays around 60 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, and guided tours descend deep into the earth via a steep staircase and cable train. Few caves in the eastern US reach these depths. Fact 10. The Devil's Icebox maintains near-freezing temperatures all year. Rockbridge Memorial State Park near Columbia contains a phenomenon called the Devil's Icebox, a collapsed cave system where cold air circulates through underground passages, keeping temperatures near 50 degrees Fahrenheit even in the sweltering Missouri summer. The cold air pours from the cave entrance like an invisible waterfall. Inside, over 7 miles of surveyed passages wind through the darkness.
7 miles.
The cave system also includes a natural rock bridge, the park's namesake, formed when the cave's roof collapsed except for one arching span. Fact 9. Alley Spring pumps 81 million gallons per day from underground caverns. Alley Spring, deep in the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, discharges an average of 81 million gallons of crystal clear water daily from a blue pool.
There is a lot of water in this state. There've been like millions of gallons here, millions of gallons there. That's a lot of bloody water.
Average of 81 million gallons of crystal clear water daily from a blue pool surrounded by limestone bluffs. The spring feeds Alley Creek, which flows into the Jacks Fork River. Beside the spring stands a red 1890s grist mill, now a museum, a photogenic relic from a time when springs powered Missouri's rural economy. The vivid blue-green water emerges at a constant 58 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to support rainbow trout year-round. Fact 8. Big Spring is the largest spring in the United States by volume. Big Spring in Carter County discharges an average of 286 million gallons of water per day.
I know some of these now are repeated, so they're coming from different facts about the same thing. Okay. But it's still a lot of bloody water, I must say.
He discharges an average of 286 million gallons of water per day, more than any other spring in the country.
Dang.
During floods, output can spike to over 840 million gallons daily. The spring boils up from a massive underwater cave, creating a roiling pool that feeds the current river. The water's constant 58 degrees Fahrenheit temperature and remarkable clarity made Big Spring one of the first state parks in Missouri. Stand at the edge, and you're watching more water emerge from the earth than anywhere else in America. Fact 7. Minnesauk Falls is Missouri's tallest waterfall. When it exists. Minnesauk Falls drops 132 feet down a series of volcanic rock ledges in Tom Sauk Mountain State Park, Missouri's tallest waterfall. But there's a catch. It only flows after heavy rain. The creek that feeds it runs intermittently, meaning the waterfall can be a thundering cascade one week and dry stone the next.
Dang.
When flowing, it's spectacular, cascading over billion-year-old igneous rock in one of the most rugged corners of the state. Timing a visit to Minnesauk Falls is as much about weather as navigation. Fact 6. Johnson's Shut-ins features Missouri's most violent natural whitewater. The shut-ins at Johnson Shut-in State Park are among the most unusual geological features in the Midwest. Here, the Black River forces through gaps in billion-year-old rhyolite, volcanic rock so hard it resisted erosion while the surrounding stone wore away. The result is a maze of chutes, pools, and waterfalls that create natural whitewater rapids. Visitors
Yikes.
slide down rock chutes and plunge into deep pools carved over hundreds of millions of years. In 2005, a catastrophic dam failure at the Tom Sauk Reservoir scoured the landscape, but the ancient shut-ins survived, as they have for eons. Fact 5. The St. Francois Mountains contain some of the oldest exposed rocks in North America. The St. Francois Mountains in southeastern Missouri don't look like much. Low, forested ridges barely topping 1,700 feet. But these humble hills are over 1.4 billion years old, formed from ancient volcanic activity that predates complex life on Earth. The rhyolite and granite here are remnants of mountains that once rivaled the Himalayas, worn down over eons to their current stubby forms. These are among the oldest exposed rocks in North America, older than the Appalachians, older than most of the continent's visible geology. Fact 4. Tom Sauk Mountain is Missouri's highest point, and surprisingly rugged. Tom Sauk Mountain rises to 1,772 feet, making it Missouri's highest natural point. That might sound modest, but the terrain here defies Missouri's flat state reputation. The summit sits on the exposed core of an ancient volcanic system surrounded by glades, igneous boulders, and Missouri's tallest waterfall. The mountain was named for a chief of the Piankashaw people, and the summit area remains wild and rocky, nothing like the gentle farmland most people picture when they think of the Show Me State. Fact 3. Fantastic Caverns is America's only fully ride-through cave. At Fantastic Caverns near Springfield,
I've never seen a cave you can drive through. I guess that's pretty good if you can't walk, you can't do stairs and stuff like that. It gives an opportunity to, but I've never seen that. That is amazing.
A fully ride-through cave. At Fantastic Caverns near Springfield, visitors tour the entire cave system without taking a single step. Aboard Jeep-drawn trams that wind through massive chambers along an underground road. This is the only fully ride-through cave in the United States, making it accessible to people who can't navigate stairs or uneven terrain. The cave was discovered in 1862, reportedly used as a speakeasy during Prohibition, and converted to tram tours in the 1960s.
Dang, look at that.
It's over 500,000 years old, and you can see all of it from a seat. Fact 2. The City Museum is an industrial playground unlike anything on Earth. The City Museum in St. Louis defies easy description. Built inside a 600,000 square foot former shoe warehouse, it's part playground, part art installation, part architectural fever dream, constructed almost entirely from reclaimed industrial objects. Giant slinkies become slides, airplane fuselages become tunnels, a school bus dangles off the roof. The museum sprawls over 10 stories, including a rooftop Ferris wheel, underground caves, and the world's largest underwear hanging from the ceiling. It was designed by artist Bob Casserly, who spent decades welding together a structure that has no parallel anywhere on Earth. Kids climb through it. Adults get lost in it. Nobody quite knows what to call it. Fact 1. Arrowhead Stadium is the loudest outdoor venue ever recorded. Let's close with a roar. Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, home of the 4-time Super Bowl champion Chiefs, has twice held
the time being,
the Guinness World Record for loudest crowd roar at an outdoor stadium, reaching 145 decibels. That's louder than a jet engine at 100 feet. The stadium's bold design traps and amplifies sound, turning 80,000 fans into a wall of noise that visiting teams describe as physically disorienting. Arrowhead has hosted football since 1972, and its acoustics remain unmatched. Forget geography carved by rivers and time. This is geography shaped by 80,000 screaming humans. What about 50 insane geography facts about Washington State?
Well, that was very interesting. I must say, a lot of great information, a lot of very surprising. A lot of kind of, I mean, worrying, I guess. You know, you got all those caverns and caves and sinkholes and everything else, a lot of water. That was very interesting. The last one, obviously, Kansas City Chiefs, as I said, you know, they're on the way out to move to Illinois. Is that where they're going? I think just over the border. Let me know in the comment section. But yeah, that was very interesting. A lot of information there about Missouri. Mark Twain. I don't think I knew Ulysses S. Grant. All from Missouri. That was a lot of great information. A lot of great information. So let me know if you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I'll definitely see you in the next reaction video. Oh, you're still here? You want more content? Why don't you check out my Patreon down here? You'll get plenty more content and some exclusive videos over there too. If not, why not check out this one over here?